welcome to another edition of Fighters Planet Podcast. I am your host, Walter Salcido. This time, no Alex Solano. He's out doing some, I don't know what the hell he's doing. But we got somebody else in that come in, El Pugilato. I've been on his podcast before. Really smart dude, boxing aficionado, and wanted to get his thoughts on a few different things going on in the world of boxing and the UFC. My man, Angel Castro. What's happening, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. Thank you for extending this invitation to this beautiful space you have.
Yeah, thanks, man. You know, we used to do a podcast a long time ago, and we actually stopped for a while. And just a few weeks ago, after being on your podcast and doing a few other podcasts, I kind of got the juices flowing again. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
I
sir.
decided to start it up. And so, yeah, man, thank you so much for joining us, man. So much going on right now in boxing, yet nothing going on in boxing at the same time. You know what I'm saying? There's so many crazy things like the whole Canelo beef that I still, to this day, I don't know who's at fault. Is it the Golden Boy? Is it the DAZN? Is it the DAZN wanting premium fighters such as Jorge Masvidal from the UFC and Khabib from the UFC, and even to fight Oscar De La Hoya? Oscar De La Hoya was, in fact, a premium fighter for Canelo to destroy, basically, in a round. But what are your thoughts, first of all? I know you're a big UFC guy as well, but you know, boxing is one of the things we mentioned before on your podcast that your first love there. So what do you think about this debacle?
Boxing always finds a way to break our hearts, and this is not an exception. As far as I've read, I've tried to study this Canelo thing deep, but the main problem, who's at fault here? Apparently, it's Golden Boy, because Golden Boy promised Canelo a certain amount of money, and they also promised DAZN a certain type of opponent for Canelo, and they couldn't deliver on the opponents.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Danny Jacobs is very good. I think he's up there. I don't know what the beef is with Danny. I think he's elite.
Right.
But besides that, Kovalev for sure was way past his prime. He should have never been in there with him. But I think the problem here is that they overpromised and underdelivered to both sides, to Canelo as far as his money and to DAZN as far as his opponents. They're in some deep trouble right now.
Yeah.
Golden Boy.
Are there some good fighters that, because of difference in you know, management, that aren't able to face Canelo, that you think, or is it strictly there's just nobody out there?
I mean, I can think of a whole bunch of people that are in the zone. Demetrius Andrade is there. He's great.
But does he sell? Does he sell?
But doesn't matter when you put him in there with Canelo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
it does a little bit, I think, you know.
I'm sure they can work around it. I mean, if all you want to do is sell a fight, I understand. But at the end of the day, it's a fight. It's a 12-round banger. And you need people that are elite in there. Right. And I think Demetrius Andrade is good, very good, I think. And I think we should get another one with Triple G. Why not?
Right.
Why not?
There's a whole bunch of fighters. Ben Saunders?
Billy Joe Saunders.
I mean, rather, Billy Joe Saunders. I'm too much of a UFC guy. Sorry.
Ben Saunders can crack too, but I think, but Ben Saunders can choke him out. I think Ben Saunders would just choke him out in 35 seconds.
Sorry about that. I get him crossed a little bit sometimes, but no, Billy Joe,
Billy Joe is very good.
Right?
Yeah, he did get popped, I think 2 years ago for something. I don't know what it was, but it was a PED, unfortunately. He was messing around with that, and he was out for a little bit. But if he's clean and everything's fine, I think they should go for it, because Billy Joe is really uncomfortable. 168, I think that's where they're gonna do it. I would watch the fight.
Yeah. So I guess my thing was, if me and you, who are just fans, you know, and we're really into the sport, but if me and you can see this, why is the DAZN throwing up impossible names, which Dana White's not going to let Jorge Masvidal go anywhere.
Nah.
So why is the zone, do you think, in your opinion, why are they kind of doing this? Knowing that they're not going to get these guys. They have quality fighters. We both know that there's quality fighters.
Maybe because the people, I think the people in charge of the zone, I don't think they're boxing people or combat sports people. I don't know who the CEO of the zone is. But I'm Simone. I just looked it up. Simone Danier. I don't know who he is, but he's not a boxing guy. He's probably like a corporate guy. So he just wants ice and money on his product. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make any sense. Why? Who wants to see Khabib box in boxing?
Yeah,
that's not what I want to see.
The known thing that he's worse at. Let's see him fight one of the best in the world at, right? Yeah, it definitely makes no sense.
No sense.
I think it's a YouTube, like you said, he's not a boxing guy. He's a YouTube kind of get millions of viewers kind of guy. And I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think he undersold the market a little bit. I think that, the hardcore fans were already basically subscribed to the zone. And although Canelo will bring guys in with their model, though, that people can just come back in and out for $20 here and there, I really think that hurts them a little bit because the casual fan is not going to pay $99. You know what I mean, for an app that they're going to use maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah, I agree.
If they bring in things, why? That's why, in my opinion, they're bringing in, the YouTube guys like Logan Paul and the Paul brothers and guys that we know should not be fighting for that kind of money, because let's face it. I mean, look, can those guys beat up a random dude in the street? Yeah, they're big athletic guys who, Logan Paul used to wrestle and, he can throw mitts or whatever. But come on, when we're talking about Canelo, when we're talking about the best boxers in the world, these dudes don't belong there. You know what I mean? At all. So, but they bring the viewers. They bring in the viewers. So do you think that's their approach now? Getting as many viewers. This is why, another story that we're going to want to talk about. Is this why things like Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul are happening? Because they're now in the entertainment business. It's not boxing anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of.
We saw this. Don't get it twisted. McGregor against Mayweather was a show. I mean, I'm sure they fought, but that went as far as it went because Floyd wanted it to go.
He carried that
for far. 10 rounds, for sure. He could have ended it. It's a different thing. It's apples and oranges. If it was an MMA octagon or cage, then it would have been over in like 15 seconds. It is what it is. Yeah, but this whole industry, the same thing is happening with the Legends Only League that Mike Tyson is bringing back. Same thing. I think it's people want to see big shows, and I understand it. But us hardcore fans, we just want to see good fights. Apparently, good fights don't cut it anymore. Apparently, you need to bring bears and gorillas and chimpanzees and jaguars to a cage to make it happen. I don't know. But I don't want to. I didn't even want to. When I heard the Logan Paul Floyd thing, I thought it was a joke until it got
it's
confirmed.
2020, brother. It's 2020.
Dude, why?
It's possible.
I don't understand why. Why would they make this? Why? What? That dude can get seriously hurt in there. He's fighting one of the best in the world.
I mean, my thing is the size difference. Isn't Logan Paul like 6'1", 200 pounds?
At the end of the day, like someone like Amanda Serrano, who's a 130-pound boxer, female boxer, she can break my rib easily. Don't get me
wrong. I'm not saying that that's going to matter, and I don't think that Logan Paul has a chance at all, no matter what size they are.
Right.
But a lucky punch, just like I think McGregor got lucky with his fight, a lucky punch can happen. And that's exactly why people are going to tune in and see this fight. I'm not personally, but there's going to be haters saying, man, what if everyone... And that's the thing with Mayweather, right? You either love him and you pay to see him fight,
right?
Or you hate him and you pay hoping he gets knocked out and you see it live.
Right, but that I understand. But like the common fan is so out of touch with reality. It's it's crazy to me. Why? How? Like, this man has been at the top of his game for the last, I don't know. Well, he started boxing like at 8.
Right.
So, and then he competed in the whatever Olympic Games and whatever. He has been at the top of his game for 30 years.
Yep.
People, stop. This is a random YouTube guy that probably can punch pretty well. He probably looks great shadow boxing and sparring against people that are on his same level.
Right.
Can Logan Paul give me a good beating? Maybe, probably, but not Floyd. Even if he's 50 pounds heavier than Floyd, there's no lucky punch against one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, we all saw the Tetshin show over in Japan. We knew that the dude was small, and of course, no kicks allowed, so nothing was really going to happen. It looked like a clown show.
Pretty
Here, there's no way a commission will make this a real boxing fight, obviously, because of that weight difference. So it has to be an exhibition.
Right.
So what is going to be allowed in this exhibition? If it's just going to be playing around, why do you want to? That I don't get. I don't get. Like, why?
I mean, are they going to wear headgear, for example? Yeah, I would say no. If you want to make it real nice, I would say no.
I don't think Tyson's wearing that's an exhibition technically, and I don't think he's wearing a headgear, right?
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna put it on him. What even if they do, even if they make him do it, who's gonna put it on him? I'm not. I think they should. If this Logan Paul Mayweather thing is gonna happen, I hope not. I hope it dies down and no one cares.
I'll be honest. If they send the link, maybe. I'm just kidding, bro.
Hey, I watch the highlights. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm not watching live, and I'm not paying for it either. You know what? When boxing struggles to give me Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano and other big fights that I want to see, and they give me this stinking trash that is going to be Floyd Mayweather against Logan Paul, we have a serious problem. Boxing has a serious problem. This is all fun and games and whatnot, but we never saw, thankfully, because I'm a Tyson Fury guy, but we never saw Wilder and Joshua. Yeah. We never saw other big fights. We've never seen Terrence Crawford against Earl Spence. Right. So it's all fun and games, but not really, because look at the state of boxing.
Yep. There's nobody there. I mean, I'm looking forward to Lomachenko. You know, the one thing about boxing is that, you know, there's no Canelo fighting. All we hear is bad news. And, you know, you see the UFC putting on show after show after show. So, you know, we were joking about this a long time ago where we thought, hey, the UFC may one day overtake boxing. And now we're seeing that on ESPN, the UFC is actually getting the primetime spot. And boxing's, you know, starting at 10 p.m. which, you know, I hope the Charlo brothers are up, you know, on Showtime, which that's going to be a good fight. I think a little overpriced at $75. You know what I mean? Yep. It's a little tough for, you know, again, the hardcore fans, we know who they are. We want to see it. You know, we're excited to see it. But how many casuals are going to pay $75 for that fight?
Not a lot.
You know what I mean? So if it tanks, then what's going to happen? You know, look at HBO. They're out the boxing business. You know what I'm saying?
That was a hard hit, too.
Yeah, and everyone thought that with HBO out, Showtime was going to take over. And
nope.
Just hasn't happened.
Nope.
Hasn't happened.
Nope.
There are some good fights coming up, though, right? What do you think about Lomachenko and Lopez coming up?
Well, Vasily Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez is a great fight. A rare occurrence in boxing where they give us the fight we want to see. Yeah. Especially in Teofimo, who's younger, I think.
A lot younger. Was he 22?
Something like that. He's a kid. And for him to take this fight at this moment in his career, I think it speaks volumes of how big his heart is.
Do you think he's taking this fight a little too soon? I mean, let's be honest. I don't think there has been a more technical fighter than Lomachenko in the last 20, 25 years. I mean, 30, Sugar Ray Leonard? Who else, maybe? Who else is really close? His footwork. Who can mimic his footwork? I mean,
nobody.
You know?
It doesn't make sense.
for him being 22 years old, basically fighting considered one of the best ever. Do you think he's kind of a little doing the Canelo versus Mayweather, where he's a little too young, but then again, helped Canelo out? Do you think he's too young for it, or you think he's ready?
At what age are you gonna take on Loma, anyways?
Yeah.
How much?
Loma's in his prime, right?
How much is he gonna diminish in 5 years? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, he does rely a lot on his reactions, on his quickness, on his reflexes, which is similar to Roy Jones, similar to Anderson Silva in MMA. So that Father Time can take that away, but he has such good fundamentals, such good footwork that, like, sometimes he doesn't have to be fast to not be there when you try to catch him. But I don't think there's a perfect time to take on Loma. I don't think this is the best time to take him on. But hey, he's betting on himself. What if he does? This isn't Logan Paul and Floyd. What if he? Teofimo knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Right.
There's a real shot.
Yeah,
he's legit. He definitely is legit.
Loma is so good though that I don't know. I think he's untouchable, but I don't know. Teofimo was so good that I doubt that a little bit. But I think Loma beats him comfortably.
Right. What do you think is next for Loma?
Gervonta, please.
Oh yeah, right.
Please give me the Gervonta.
I think they're going to protect him a little bit more. I don't think they're going to give him Gervonta Davis.
This doesn't make any sense.
It's the whole Mayweather routine, right?
Right. As long as they're making money, that's fine. But who else? I mean, at 135, you can't just put up Brian Garcia or Devin Haney. They're too young, I think, in their careers. But so's Teofimo.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, come on, give me something.
It's going to be a good fight. Yeah, I know. Want to switch gears to some UFC stuff, or honestly, there's nothing else in boxing, bro.
I mean, Tyson Fury is fighting in December. He's fighting Deontay Wilder on the rubber match.
Yeah. If we get there.
Has there ever been a better heavyweight than that man in the last 30 years? I don't think so.
It's hard to say. That big with that speed and that power, resilience. I mean, I was lucky enough to cover the first Wilder and Tyson Fury fight.
What do you think?
If it wasn't for him coming back and knocking Tyson Fury down in those 12 rounds, Tyson Fury would have won the fight. You think
it was a draw?
I think it was a draw. Perhaps.
Break my heart.
Perhaps you could have given it to Tyson Fury. You could have gone that way, but hey man, you get knocked down in the 12th round like that, even though you come back and to some win the round after you got back up. Finished the round strong, came back.
I agree.
But still, a knockdown is a knockdown, and with the points and draw, it makes for the it made the second one better. The second one was just
bonkers. That I didn't even know. I never had in any scenario. I didn't have Tyson Fury knocking him out at all.
Was it the suit?
Come on, man. Come on, Deontay. I mean, he's been a bully for so long in a good way. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't know him, but I'm sure he's a sweetheart. But he's been a bully inside the ring, in the square circle, for all his 41 fights. Right. And then to get bullied doesn't make any sense. And then you know what? Like a school bully. He punches people and no one punches back. Like every time he touches somebody up until that point, every time he touched somebody on the chin, they would go to sleep. He turned people off. Yeah. But then have this guy get up not once but twice in their first fight, and have him fight back on that 12th round and win the round. In the eyes of some fans, dude, that has to shake your confidence as a power puncher, because that's all he has. He doesn't have anything else. No footwork. He's not really technical. Wild punches still. Wild punches. You get those big overhand rights that
I think someone like Tyson Fury is just going to pick him apart, you know. But the problem with so then you got Joshua. The problem with Anthony Joshua, though, is that I don't think Joshua can take a punch. So I think that Wilder can easily beat Joshua.
I agree.
To that scenario,
Of the big three, heavyweights, my list is Fury, Wilder, and Joshua on the third spot.
Yeah.
He's super talented. Don't get me wrong, and all the UK fans are gonna hate me for this, as they always do when I talk about Joshua. But he's the third best of all of them.
Right.
He had trouble with a 97-year-old Vladimir Klitschko. Let's be honest here. Like he could have been.
Got knocked down.
He got knocked down ugly.
Yeah.
But then he came back. Yeah, kudos. That's what you should have done.
Resilient. Yep.
Yeah. That Andy fight, though, takes a lot away from his legacy and from who he was at that moment.
Right.
He came back. He did what he had to do. He schooled Andy for 12 rounds.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he schooled him. He came in leaner, which is good, and I hope he stays leaner because that big bodybuilder frame doesn't do him any favors.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I don't think Anthony beats Deontay Wilder. I don't think he survives Deontay Wilder. Number one. Number two, I really don't think he beats Tyson Fury any day of the week. Right. Not even. I don't care how lucky he gets.
Right. Tyson Fury's still young too. This is the thing that most people don't realize. So he still has a good 5-6 years if he wants to put in the work.
Hopefully,
as big as he is, we hope his body holds up. But we have Andy Ruiz, who's going to fight another heavyweight Latino, Chris Arreola, soon, which is a pretty good fight. I want to see that. Chris is a good veteran, and I can't wait to see that bout. It's going to show us exactly who Andy Ruiz is. Can he get back to training? Can he get back to being world class? Because let's face it, he got clipped early in that Joshua fight. You know. He did put in the good combinations, and he knocked Joshua down, of course. But, he got clipped early as well. Areola's a big puncher, but Areola, let's face it, he's a little on the older side now, and I don't think he can take as many punches either. But I'm interested to see how Andy Ruiz is actually going to perform here. But unpopular opinion amongst my Latino friends, but I don't see Andy Ruiz climbing back up on that, that heavyweight ladder and becoming champion again.
Andy, and this is something that Luis Pavon told me when I recorded a podcast with him. For those of you that don't know, Luis Pavon is a Puerto Rican ref. He's been Puerto Rican boxing referee. He's been doing it for almost 30 years, and he was the referee for that second Andy against Joshua fight. What he told me that he came in the same day as Andy did to Abu Dhabi. Is that where they fought? Somewhere in the Emirates. I don't remember. And Andy did not look as big as he did on Fight Night as he did when he landed. Meaning that for the time he was there before the fight,
he gained weight.
Homeboy was out of control. Dude,
can you imagine the food and how much they just brought to him? Can you imagine?
Dude, allegedly, I wasn't there, but the rumor is that the one of the government representatives over there, I don't know, like the prince or whatever, Andy was the heavyweight champ, so he invited him to have big meals and parties and whatever and drink and this and that, allegedly. And he got way bigger than he should have been.
I mean, you can easily gain 10, 15 pounds eating like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially if you land like 2 weeks before fighting.
Yeah. For promotion.
Dude, I mean, it sucks because Andy's so talented. Like his hands are so fast. He can take a mean punch because that uppercut. Well, it was like a left shovel punch, right? That Joshua landed on him. Yeah, he took a mean one, and the same referee told me that when he was reffing the fight, he was working that fight. He saw a straight right that Anthony landed that he thought was gonna floor Andy, and Andy just took it and just buckled down, just kept
Wow.
going forward. So Andy has a chin. Andy has huevos, like they say
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Spanish.
and great footwork too. He has really good footwork.
Crazy footwork. Crazy footwork. Like people think that he's just a chubby boxer. I mean, that's the way he's built, like Daniel Cormier or whatever. Some people are just chubby. That's what it is, but they're elite.
Yeah.
And I think if he stays a little slim, he's still going to be chubby. Just he can be up there again.
Right.
But he's with the Canelo camp now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't take no nonsense.
I hope so.
Yeah. So hopefully that works.
I think that's what I was going to mention. I think his biggest problem is just discipline. He's not disciplined, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, for someone who all of a sudden, like you said, he doesn't have to worry about money anymore. It's hard to get up in the morning when, you know, your silk, you know, nice little blankets, they'll feel good. So at 4 a.m. to hit the pavement, as they say, that's tough. So I hope he gets him in there, you know, because no one's more disciplined than Canelo, and no one's, you know, no one has more money than Canelo either.
Exactly. So that Chris Arreola fight, I love Chris. He's been through wars. I don't know if I want to see him fight anymore, being honest, out of respect and out of love for what he's done for boxing and for the Hispanic community. Like he's been a big figure, even though he hasn't been a big Hollywood, you know, Showtime boxer. But everybody, most of the boxing community knows who he is. We know how hard he's been. He's been through a lot of wars. He's been up there since the Klitschko days.
Yes,
man. That Kovnatski fight, like last year or the year before, that was a fight. That was a dog fight. I don't know if I want to see him fight anymore.
Yeah, he's a vet. He's been doing it for years. I mean, he was a contender, like 10 years ago, maybe? Dude. He was in the mix, you know? But definitely past his prime, man. And I'm with you. You know, there's so many fighters that should call it quits. They don't. Should, though. But we'll see. I mean, the bad thing is that, you know, Andy Garcia, Andy Ruiz is going to come out firing. You know what I mean? And he is heavy-handed.
He is heavy-handed.
It's possible that we're going to see, you know, Chris Arreola get knocked out again.
If we do, hopefully that's his last.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, I mean, who are we? At the end of the day, they're in charge of their careers and whatever. But I want to see fighters grow old and enjoy their grandkids and enjoy what they built for themselves, man. Because it's not fair. You know, we get to enjoy them for all their life since they're 18 to they're 40. And then at 45, they can't remember where they left their keys. So, you know, that's not fair. I just hope as a whole, the combat sports world takes better care of their fighters. Let's see.
Although there are some exceptions to the rules. You know, I know that, look, Roy Jones Jr. has been knocked out way too many times. So for him to face Mike Tyson, that's kind of scary. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Mike Tyson in the first round, it's an exhibition, but, I mean, I think
not
he's
really.
Come out firing. You know, I think he's going to come out firing. Isn't Julio Cesar Chavez fighting Jorge Arce also?
I heard, yeah, that's true. But I heard that Julio, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I heard that Julio has like a abnormal chunk of bone on his cranium.
Really?
Like, yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know how. I've heard it through the boxing grapevine. Yeah, like his cranium isn't normal. Like he was made to take punches.
Yeah,
I'm not a doctor. I don't know if he's been checked out by doctors. I don't know what that means. But definitely, if you look at his career, he's been through some wars, and he can take a punch, and he can still come out on the other side.
And he looks good training.
He's what, 60 something?
I don't know.
He's up there.
I don't know.
117 years old. Yeah, I think. I don't know when this fight is, but probably it should be, I don't know, this month or the coming month before November, I think.
Yeah. He's hilarious. I just see him on Twitter posting all the time.
El Dientón.
He's hilarious, bro. So
he was born in 62, which makes him 58. 58 years old. He's 58 years old. That's not crazy.
Not bad.
That's 4 years older.
Like 54, right, or something like that.
Yeah, he's 4 years older than Tyson.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's when you realize that not all men are created equal.
No, because dude, to get right now at 43, I can't get up and start training like that. I'll run 2 miles. I'm done for 3-4 days. My knees are swollen. For those dudes to be doing it that way, that hard for as old as they are, props to them, bro.
Dude, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I'm sure Mike. I don't want to speculate, but I don't know who's know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you still gotta get up and work. You still gotta get up and do your thing.
Yeah.
So that kudos to them for being on the hard side of 50.
I know.
And still doing this.
And I'm sure there's some, Tijuana supplements that help out a lot. You know what I mean?
Some Nuevo León.
La ciencia.
I mean, there's been I don't know. Recently, Gerald Miller got popped again. I think last month he popped the third time.
He gets popped like every other month, bro.
Dude, and that dude that he's been everywhere because he was a kickboxer before. He even fought Crow Cup in Glory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would have loved to see that fight against Joshua.
Yeah, me too.
But at the end of the day, man, you just can't keep your head straight. I think he should be kicked out. That's a third strike. No more boxing for you, bro.
Bro, he got popped for the exact same things he just came out of suspension for.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not a big fuck you to the actual commission, I don't know what else is. You know what I mean? The exact same drugs that he just came off of suspension.
Yeah, and they'll probably allow him to fight again.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But then female boxers can't fight 3 minutes per round.
Weird, right?
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
This is upside down.
If anything, mixed martial arts in the UFC and Bellator, Combate have wonderful female fighters. Invicta tonight fighting in a church, I think, is it tonight?
Yeah, tonight. Tonight, Thursday.
When you throw in boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, there's nothing more grueling than that. So if they can do MMA fights, why can't they do that boxing? It makes no sense. It's just this thing that you have to. Boxing is so old that's why we have a million different belts. Is that back in the day, everyone had a piece of the country, but then when the piece of the country came together, I guess hey. We don't need WBC, WBA, IBF. We don't even know who the hell the champion is. And, we talk about this so many times, but I don't know, man. Just boxing in general, it doesn't make sense because it brings in these old rules. For women not to fight at least the same amount of, it makes no sense. It should be the exact same thing as men. It's not like they're fighting other men. They're fighting women. It's a fair fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the time, I don't see why not. It makes no sense.
I don't understand it. So they based their decision on some bogus scientific study they did that claims that women's necks and their spine aren't as strong as men's. We're built different. That doesn't mean they're worse or better, whatever it is. I mean, it's not like you have a 500-pound dude punching a 150-pound girl. That's not what's gonna happen. They're gonna be at the same height, same weight. And they're gonna fight. Just let them fight. How many times did Angela Hill get kicked in the face last on UFC on Vegas 10? A bunch of times. And how many times did Michelle Waterson get elbowed in the face? A bunch of times too.
We also saw Joanna Jędrzejczyk come out looking like an alien.
She was looking like a balloon.
Cool. Yeah. Come on now.
And she's walking around fine, hanging out, talking to her friends.
And you know what? A lot of female boxers are jumping into MMA, and I don't hear them complain about it. So this is a commission thing. It has nothing to do with the fighters. I know they want to fight. I'm sure they don't care about going 5-minute rounds or, whatever the case may be, however they want to structure it. But I know it's not the fighters. It's the commission. But, I don't know. Maybe we got to think about why they have so many commissions. You know what I mean?
It doesn't make sense. Like Zulema Urbina, a young Mexican boxer. Shout out to Zulem. She's awesome. She was saying that, hey man, when I box at 2 minutes per round, I know I've hurt my opponent. It's happened before, and then before I know it, the round ends, and they recover, and I gotta hurt him again. Yeah. And then they recover, and if I had 3 minutes, I would get him out quick.
Sure.
So maybe you're hurting the ladies more than you're helping them with this dumb, archaic rule, I think.
Right. I think so too. I think so too. I mean, even that study. I mean, again, how is it for only boxing because they're standing straight up? Did they do only boxers? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can get a head cranked. You know what I mean? Or but
Dude.
boxing,
It
whatever.
doesn't make sense. I mean, at the end of the day, the people that published or the people that support this decision is
Mhm.
the WBC,
Uh-huh.
who the leader is Mauricio Sulaiman. And I mean, I don't know him personally, but I have never seen or heard a coherent thought come out of the WBC or Mauricio Sulaiman. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing he does makes sense. Like the Dylan White Alexander Povetkin fight, there was a WBC belt involved.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What was it called? A
Why?
diamond bell?
It was I don't know, it was super intergalactic, intercontinental bogus belt. I don't know what it was, but it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean,
That fight didn't make any sense.
he took over the WBC from his father. His father used to be president.
That's another thing, man. Why don't they vote? Just vote.
It's a family business, but you know, it's non-profit. You know, it's
But they
non-profit.
charge when the fights have their belts on the line.
But it's a non-profit, brother.
They need to be taxed.
That's why, you know, if of course, I mean, I don't understand why they can't just come up with a unified champion. You know what I mean? Just unify the belts. There's just too many of them. It doesn't make sense. You know what I
Just
mean?
unify all the
Yeah.
like the regulating bodies, which is the IBF, WBO, WBC, WBA, all of them. Just be one. Just pick a leader. Just get Oscar and the dude from PBC and Bob Arum.
All the big heads, Lou DiBella, all the big heads.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn. Just go.
Eddie
Just
Hearn.
go. Just sit down like gentlemen, have coffee, tea, no drugs.
You know how
in the
much
room.
more money it'll actually make?
I'm sure they will make a whole lot of money, more money for sure.
Now we get to see the actual fights we want to see, and with all them unified, don't tell me there isn't enough boxers now to put on good fights. Now you can put on a good, you know, tournament if you want to, just to see who the first champion is or whatever the case may be. You have a lot more options, but you know, we're never gonna get, you know, Errol Spence, Crawford. We're never gonna see those fights because of these promotions. You know, or it's gonna be too late. Just like I guarantee you, watch, we're not gonna see Lomachenko versus Davis. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You know, I don't think it is until, you know, 10 years from now. Davis already said at least to 2022 or something stupid. So
why are they like this?
I don't know. But you know, even in MMA, this commission stuff, you know, it sucks how it's like if we were in the NFL and if you're playing against the Miami Dolphins, you have to play by different rules because that state has different laws and the different commission. You know what I mean? So even in MMA, it has its problems where everything needs to be unified. But
True.
We all have time to complain about the little things.
I mean, if by far the UFC is doing it way better than any other boxing promotion, and Bellator too. Bellator, they're doing a great job too. I mean, they're limited in talent. You would say maybe they don't have the best in the world, but they're close. Right. Phil Davis and right now. Juan Archuleta, those people, they can make anybody's life a living hell in the UFC, I think.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Phil Davis was part of the UFC for many years. Yeah. And you know, the only thing about there's definitely a resurgence, you know. A lot of those fighters don't like the pay scale and the whole Reebok stuff, so it's hard for them to come back. But you're right, if we can see these fighters fight, you know, like Patricio Pitbull, he actually had, you know, a few comments about he beat Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler now is going to be, you know, up next or waiting in case if anything happens in that championship fight between Justin Gaethje and Khabib. So he was mentioning, you know, what does that say about talent? Unfortunately, though, there isn't that many guys in Bellator to have that type of, you know, the UFC does have better talent. You know what I mean? Their top 10 is way better than Bellator's top 10. And Patricio, he's a great star and will probably do great in the UFC because he's a great fighter in general. But I'm sorry, until he joins the UFC as well, it's going to be tough to name him one of the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If he doesn't face top competition, it doesn't Like, it doesn't rank him anywhere. I mean, you can be as good as you want. Hey, for example, I love one championships light heavyweight and middleweight champion Ong Lang Song. I think he's from Myanmar, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows who he is besides the true fans?
The Asian market, I mean, obviously back there, but yeah, here in the States,
no one. And that dude is a murderer. That dude is very good.
Yeah.
But if you don't find him in the UFC at the end of the day, unfortunately, that's a death nail.
I give people the example of baseball. Japan has a great baseball league. It's never going to be, the United States, the MLB, obviously, because of the athletes and stuff. But they have a great, Japanese league as well. There are plenty of stars that were great there. They come over here, like Ichiro Suzuki, and so many stars that we know that basically become Hall of Famers as well here. So it's not to say that they're not great fighters out there, but I don't know. You can't say that you're the best in the world if you don't face that type of competition. I mean, if we look at someone like Dustin Poirier, right? Who has he fought the last 5 fights? I mean, it's like Khabib.
Everybody.
Tony Ferguson. It's Justin Gaethje. I mean, this dude's fought, so many top 5. Who in the lightweight division in Bellator can say they fought murderers like that?
Nobody. Dude, even his last 10 fights are crazy. Like Dan Hooker, Khabib, Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, Anthony Pettis, even Bobby Green, homeboy.
Yeah, that's right. He beat Bobby Green.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. Man. You see what I'm saying? So I see Patricio's point. He is a double champ in his league.
Correct.
And I understand but I think the UFC, just like they gave Ben Askren a chance, it took a while. But they brought him in to see, hey, he was undefeated in Bellator. He was undefeated at 1. Let's see what he can do. Didn't do so well.
Yeah.
Let's see what Michael Chandler can do. I think he's legit. I like his coach, Henry Hoof. I think he's one of the greatest kickboxers ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know Henry Hoof, you better ask somebody.
You got a problem.
Yeah, Google him.
Google Henry Hoof for real.
And he's a legit contender. Is he up there? I see Michael Chandler as like a Dustin Poirier. You know what I mean? Great boxing, great footwork, great wrestling. He's going to put it on you. He can take a punch, as we've seen in a lot of his other fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think they were trying to do the Dustin Poirier fight with Michael Chandler. But I think they brought him in so he can prove himself. I mean, look, if Dustin Chandler goes 0-3 in his first 3 UFC fights, we're going to have a different discussion in a year from now. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, what he did to Benson, not only once, but twice, he's real. And he beat Eddie Alvarez back in the day. Like, the thing is that Dana, I don't know him either, but the way he handles his business the same way Vince McMahon does, right? Mm-hmm. For the wrestling fans out there, like, if I didn't create it, if it didn't come from my company, then it's not that good, And that's what he's gonna do to Michael Chandler. I think that's why he didn't even give him a fight to debut on.
Right.
He just made him a backup.
Yeah.
Which also speaks to how good Michael is, I guess, because he's a backup to the biggest fight in the 155 division.
Right.
But I would have matched him up with somebody. I know that Dustin and Tony, they have an agreement. They don't want to take any other fights before they put them together. I said, let's just do Paul Felder. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Union. Yeah, the Union. Let's see.
No, you're right. Paul Felder's a great fight for Michael Chandler. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we discussed in La Cima, the shirt you got on. You represent La Cima. We talked about this with the guys, with Jared and with Eric. That's the fight. I think that's the fight he should come in on. So, but I don't know. That's not what Dana wants.
Yeah, and this whole thing with Dustin Poirier and Tony Ferguson, them backing each other up as far as pay. I mean, hey, it's time. It is time for the UFC to have their Fighters Association.
Right.
Let's be real. It's already became a multi-billion-dollar company.
Right.
You have the NFLPA, you have the NBA Players Association. Every other big-time sport league has their union to back up the players. I mean, look, we're not there to see Dana White. We're not there to see Joe Rogan. We're there to see the fighters. You know what I mean? So someone has to bring in the fighters. And, we were talking about this earlier in the other podcast, that fighters right now, with the whole thing with, you see the NBA and their players putting Black Lives Matter on their clothing and things like that. And, we're not going to see Black Lives Matter on UFC uniforms.
Maybe not. I don't think we'll ever see it.
The reason why, though, is that, first of all, it's going against Trump's political background and who he joins and Trump, which there's a whole history there that we can get into if you like, because
go ahead. Man. I mean, I understand Dana, because Trump was there to open his casinos to the sport when nobody wanted to.
Exactly.
But it's such a difficult thing. I mean, I don't have any problems talking about it. Whatever you want to do, bro.
Yeah. No, but what I was mentioning is that as far as Dana White, I mean, he's not gonna change his agenda because there's no one to ask him to change it. The fighters, John Jones does this thing in Albuquerque, which is great and amazing. Everyone does their own part in their own way, but there isn't a voice to say, hey, Reebok, or hey, Venom, or whoever their sponsor is going to be, we want to put this on our shirt. There's no collective there. That, along with pay, along with, insurance and benefits and all sorts of other things. You know what I mean? If we're talking about the NBA, the NBA gets more than 50% of the actual revenue. Right. So the actual players themselves make more money than the owners. Imagine if the fighters made more money than the UFC itself, than Dana White and everybody else. You know what I mean? I mean, we see millionaires just like we see in the NBA. We see them in fighters. And don't get me wrong, there are only a few millionaire fighters, but man, I really don't think that you should be a professional fighter in the UFC and have a second job because you get paid $10,000 to fight. Be real. Out of those 10,000, coaches, gyms, all sorts of other things, taxes, you're taking home $3.
Maybe.
So it's not fair for fighters. You mean you don't see no rookie in any league. You don't never see a rookie having to have a second job the same time they're playing. It's ridiculous, especially in one of the most brutal sports where you have to be on point physically. You know what I mean?
It's counterproductive.
It is.
And obviously, we see baseball players, basketball players, even soccer players. They make so much money their first year. And I understand maybe you don't want to, that first year should be the year that they get paid the least because, they're rookies. I understand that. But $10,000 per fight, let's say you maybe fight 3 times, that's $30,000. Well, 10 and 10, let's say, because you get 10 and for show and 10 for win. You end your year with 60 minus taxes, minus corner, minus all the expenses. Maybe you took home 35, maybe.
Right.
It's not fair. I don't think it's fair. And when you get to the top of the game, like John Jones, Anderson, Connor, Ronda, Amanda Nunes, the big people that they get paid millions, I hope.
Yeah.
But I can understand that then the sponsorships arrive, movie opportunities arrive. That's fine. And they make more money. Like we just saw today, Israel Adesanya signed his contract with Puma, with the Puma brand, and he's doing commercials and all that. That's where he's making some of that cash. Right. But I think a union would be better for the young up and coming fighter. Though, like a young rookie fighter isn't going to turn down a UFC contract. Doesn't matter how cheap it is. They're going to sign that contract because they want to be on TV and this is their dream and they want to achieve it. And that's how it should go, right? Yeah. But you shouldn't fight for $10,000. No. That doesn't make sense. That's not good. And I just feel
in a sport that you can really get hurt.
Yes.
Where
I mean,
permanently.
you could mercifully get choked out in 35 seconds, or you could get a 15-minute beating with elbows and knees and leg kicks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just hope they work it out. At the end of the day, fighters don't even take 20% of what the UFC makes in total.
Right.
Like you said, other leagues are almost 50-50, 50 ownership, 50 to the players. That doesn't happen in the UFC. It's maybe like 87-13 or 83-17. It's not even like 80-20. So I just hope they find a way of figuring it out. But I don't know if we're going to see that under the Dana White kingdom. I think. Yeah. Maybe if it starts elsewhere, if it starts in Bellator and then it moves to, I don't know, PFL, Combate, maybe they work something out amongst them. Then maybe a couple of big fights, like a couple of big stars step up. But they don't even talk amongst each other. I mean, they don't work cards together with each other.
Right.
I don't know. They got to work together, make something happen. I know Leslie Smith was talking about it. She's been talking about it for a long time, right? She wanted to put together, and she's fighting in Bellator now. So hopefully something comes out of that.
Well,
maybe
it also came out today. I think it was today that there's going to be able. Nate Quarry, an old fighter, was talking about.
Wow.
That. And
Rock.
There was a antitrust lawsuit against the UFC in, I believe, I'm talking out of my ass right now, so let me just look it up.
I got you.
Oh, good. It has to do with the class action. So they gave it the class action lawsuit. I guess you need permission to actually go through with it. So now they're going to go through with a class action lawsuit or something like that, which is a step in that direction.
Right? The headline says Judge Hedges, but likely to certify UFC antitrust case as class action lawsuit.
Yeah. So now that means that a bunch of fighters can start joining up if they want to. And, if they get, enough fighters, I mean, hey, listen, if there's enough fighters on that list, maybe there's enough fighters to come together and create something. You know what I mean? But
at the end of the day, they need a name. They need a couple of big names to join their association.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Tony Ferguson and Dustin Poirier, that's why I thought it was a big deal with this new thing coming out. And those two putting it out there saying, now, you know what? You pay the man. You want him to fight? Pay him. That's what Tony Ferguson said about Dustin Poirier. So, man, I thought that was huge because those two guys, I mean, right now it doesn't get any bigger than those two guys, really, right?
Yeah, 155, they're two of the biggest figures, for sure. Mm-hmm. Or in the whole game.
I mean, they're good enough names to start a movement if they really wanted to.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, everybody's replaceable. I'm sure, like, Dana would say that out of his mouth.
Of course.
But I think they are very important names that could start the ball rolling, I hope. I hope they could get the ball rolling. Yeah. But John Jones, maybe.
Yeah, I think John Jones is going to stay on the good side of everyone at the UFC at this point.
I mean, if he's, I think that he's so good. I mean, dude, he got away with snorting coke and crashing into a pregnant lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on. Like, you can't get I think if he wanted, he would. I mean, that was his whole thing with before he moved to heavyweight. He wanted more money to fight Francis, which, geez, if you're going to fight Francis, get all the money you can because he can kill you.
Definitely rip your head off.
Which I think is what's going to happen if they ever meet. Anyways, I think Francis grabs his heart like that and just eats it in front of him.
I think that people. I mean, I don't know if you remember when he was actually suspended. He put on some muscle.
Yeah, I remember that.
The dude can get up pretty thick. I mean, both of his brothers are NFL linemen. Both of his brothers have it in their DNA to be big, fast. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that if he puts on the weight healthy, he's going to have the speed. I think he's going to have his athleticism. I think his little chicken legs are going to look better. And I really think that he's going to be powerful at around 240, 245. I think he's too technical for Francis Ngannou. Look, let's be real, bro. Ngannou is strong. He's the Hulk. But bro, he's swinging for the fences. He's
He
not
is
technically there. I mean, he's only been in MMA for what, 5 years? I think it is 6 years now,
7, something
7
like that.
maybe. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't do that. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously he is doing it, but for someone like John Jones, and maybe I'm just being a fanboy right now. I don't. I think John Jones is too much of a fighter, too technical, and that's why I have him in my Mount Rushmore of MMA.
I mean, he deserves to be there.
Yeah, and I think that him putting on the weight correctly and healthy, bro. I don't think there's anyone that stops him in the heavyweight.
Mm, I don't. I'm too much of a Stipe fan. I got too much respect for Stipe. I think
Yeah.
this is me wishful thinking.
Mhm.
Stipe fights Ngannou and beats him again, and then beats John and rides off into the sunset. That's what I want Stipe to
That'd be
do.
great.
And then if that happens, that's it. There's no
Yeah.
fader conversation. I voluntarily take Anderson off of the GOAT spot and put Stipe
No.
there. Yes. Yes. If he
Anderson's run.
I
It's
still
Anderson's run
today.
and middleweight champ. You're never gonna be able to put a run like that together again for
I
that
don't.
amount of years.
I don't think anybody can do that at any weight.
Uh-huh.
John almost did it, but then he tripped himself up.
Yeah.
But if you're able to beat Ngannou twice, beat Cormier twice, and beat John, I think
Oh,
that's
you're the
it.
greatest ever. Yeah, you're the
I
greatest
think
ever.
that's it. I think that's
That's a
it.
it's a big if.
That's a huge if.
You got
That's
two huge ifs.
Yeah, the
Francis
easier
Ngannou
fight.
and John Jones.
Yeah, when your easier fight is Francis, you got a
Yeah.
problem. You got a huge problem.
Yeah, because if you actually face someone like Francis first, you're giving John Jones a good 6 months, maybe 7 months
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
put on weight. I think he can put on, health wise. I mean, that's really not a lot of time actually. He can probably put on a good 10, 15 pounds maybe. But you got to remember, he doesn't walk around at 205. The dude walks
No,
around at 225,
230.
230. So if he
Yeah,
puts on another 15 pounds, he's at 245. He's right where he needs to be.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
I think he should still come in at 230 maybe, and that's heavy. I think he should stay at 225 solid lean muscle just to be able to beat John Jones. Because at 240 he can't be
You mean to beat Ngannou? Or
to compete at heavyweight. To beat heavyweights, I don't think he should go up to 240.
you don't think so?
No, that takes away from who he is.
Hmm.
I mean, he needs to do something about those legs.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't think he should compete
Well,
a fight night 240 all swole like that. I
well,
don't think.
do you think that how close do you think he is at fight night? I think he's about 225. He's probably about
I think
230
he
right
weighs.
now.
I think he like walk around weight or fight night weight. He should be like 227, something like that. But
Yeah.
that's him rehydrated.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be
but
good to see.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want him to get too big because it takes away from what we've seen. Like John
His
is
speed.
this fast guy, crazy, athletic, and he comes up with these crazy angles and crazy striking combinations that you never see, and you can't be 240, 245 to do that. You
Yeah.
got to be at your comfortable weight, which I think is like
Yeah.
225.
I mean, look, the only reason why I would say this, and I think that he would be able to do it at that weight, is because you look at his brothers. They're 290, 280, and
Crazy.
they are that fast.
Yeah.
They're one of the best NFL Pro Bowlers, and I think that, I don't know, his DNA is going to allow him to keep that speed. So who knows? It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure going to wait for it, of course, but
I want to watch it, yeah.
hell yeah. Lastly, this weekend's fights: UFC Covington versus Woodley. It got a little political with Trump going to Henderson, Nevada, and we got to see Dana White and we saw the president give Colby Covington some props and stuff like that with his MAGA hat. They're pumping it up. They're pumping it up. How do you see this fight? And what are your thoughts on that part of the process where, like we said before, I think it's a process for Dana White. You know what I mean? Trump was there for him in the beginning, and he needs to be for them. He needs to return the favor. You know what I mean?
I understand him completely. If I was starting a business and I was struggling and I needed to put on events and this guy helped me put on events, I would back him up. It is what it is. That's what people do. I don't like him. I don't like the other guy either, but you know,
what are you gonna do?
at the end of the day, they're politicians. That's what they're there for, to speak BS.
Right.
Anyways, what Colby has done, like, don't get it twisted, people. Colby is a character. He was about to get cut from the UFC before he started clowning around in his MAGA hat. Like, he got the perfect opportunity. He got an ultimatum from the UFC. They said, you were boring. You're good, but you're boring. And he came up with this. Problem is, how many people really hate him in real life? How many people has he? I don't know. He's broken some friendships, apparently, in the course of this whole thing.
Dustin Poirier, Jorge Masvidal. I mean, they were all buddies down in Florida. So
at the end of the day,
turned the character into real life.
Yeah, at the end of the day, everybody loves Jorge. Jorge's a Trump supporter too, an avid Trump supporter.
That Goya president, right?
Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. So, what's the difference between Colby and Jorge? Colby's a character, and he took it to a dark place.
Right.
And Jorge is just that guy. He's just a cool guy that likes Republicans. It is what it is. Not a lot of those, but you know, he's
by
a cool
the way,
guy.
I really don't care as far as, you know, what way you vote. I'm just thinking it's funny how the UFC now, at one point, the UFC in this country was thought of as barbaric, and it was actually illegal in many states.
By Republicans.
Yeah, and now we have the UFC and Dana White and everybody, and the president giving them props, and he's going to watch the fight. And it's pretty crazy times we're living in, man. It's pretty crazy times to see the UFC at that level. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's good that they have the attention. And when it comes to a company, any news is good news, I think, because you know, people are talking about you or whatever. I think people should be able to vote. I mean, this presidency has been so controversial, but I mean, we as a society made that guy who he is, our president. We made him a cartoon character, so now we got to eat him. Anyways, but I think the pay-per-view, I mean, the card for this Saturday, I think it's hot. I think the whole political aspect of it, of Tyron Woodley and Colby, also adds a little fuel to the fire, I think. But I think they're really genuinely, Tyron doesn't like Colby at all.
Right.
But that doesn't matter when the bell rings.
Right.
Because if the Tyron Woodley we see is the same Tyron Woodley we've seen for the past two fights, he is getting beat very comfortably. Colby is going to win easily 49-46. If that's the guy that if that's the Tyron Woodley that we see, the one that fought Gilbert Burns and the one that fought Kamaru Usman, then we have a clear decision win to Colby.
Right.
Hopefully that's not what happens. I want to see a banger of a fight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope Woodley gets out of his funk. You know, we spoke a little bit on your podcast too. I don't know, man. I think that Woodley did go through a depression with his last fight, and we're going to see who he is. I do think that this whole Trump thing is going to get more viewers, which is good.
Good. Yes.
Viewership is gonna go through the roof. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, hey, man. At the end of the day, we all have our opinions and we all have our choices, and that's why this is America. We can vote blue or red or whatever it is. But this attention, I think it's good for the UFC. I think it's going to give it more exposure. And hey, man, the whole card is pretty good. It's pretty good, especially the main event. There's so many good fights on there. We're already a little bit over, but what other fight are you, if we talk about one last thing, what other fight are you looking forward to, or who are you looking forward to seeing this Saturday night at the UFC?
It's unanimous. Cima Fight.
Yes.
Smash I just want to see him smash.
Yeah. Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I love that guy. He's 8-0. He's fighting Gerald Merchant, who is a vet, 44 fights.
Mm-hmm.
Dana already double booked Kazmat. He booked him against this guy, Gerald Merchant, and he booked him against Damian Maia.
Right.
I think a month from now, 2 months from now, if I'm correct,
Yeah.
over at Fight Island. He's already double booked.
Yeah.
Dana never does this, but he believes he can. I like Kazmat. I think he's gonna destroy Merchant. I mean, all respect to Merchant, but he's been through the ringer. It's been quite a career. And actually, Kazmat, that's not even his weight. He's fighting at 185 this Saturday, but he's fighting, I think, at 170 against Maia, if I'm correct.
Right, he's not dropping weight. That's why he's kind of
that guy is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I love him. I love everything about him. I love his interviews. I love
he's pretty funny.
The way he fights.
Yeah,
I loved him at the press conference today. I love everything about Kazmat. Hopefully he just runs through GM3 and then looks great against Damian Maia.
Yeah, man, I really think he will also. The one dude I really want to see if he can get back into it is Johnny Walker. And actually, Kazmat kind of reminds me of Johnny. He had all the hype coming back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right behind him. I mean, he had all the hype behind him. Everyone thought he was going to be the dude that's going to beat, John Jones at the time. He thought he was the biggest sensation. Next thing you know, he does the worm, dislocates his shoulder. He's out for a while. Dude. And not the same guy anymore. You know what I mean?
No. The way he beat Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah. He's coming back.
Respect, brother. Respect.
Yep. Great kickboxer in Roundtree. You know he's going to bring it. Dude, I think this is going to be an easy fight for him. You know what I mean? But is Kazmat going to be the next Johnny Walker? We're going to find out.
Hopefully not. Hopefully Kazmat
he looks more like the next Khabib, right? He's a bigger Khabib.
I like all those guys. I like Kazmat. I like Islam Makhachev. I like all of them. Yeah, I like Zabit. Zabit's a little different. Like Zabit isn't all that grounded. He's not that wrestling heavy.
Right.
Creative with his stuff. He's out there.
Yeah, he is.
But Kazmat, Khabib, and Islam Makhachev, they're kind of like made out of the same mold.
Yeah.
They grind you to pieces. I love it.
Right. Cool, man. All right, brother. Angel, man, thank you so much. For those that, where can they check you out? Please plug it in.
If you are a Spanish-speaking human, you can check out my channel, El Pugilato TV, on YouTube, or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, El Pugilato, or check out the El Pugilato podcast on your favorite podcast app or platform. I'm everywhere. I'm Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you want to do. I'm even on iHeartRadio.
There you go.
Dude, I'm there. Come on.
Everywhere.
So if you speak Spanish and you love combat sports, I'm your guy. Come on, I got you.
That's my man.
And check out La Cima too. I'm sorry, Walter's. Yeah, that
Cima
shirt.
Fight Club.
Yeah, La Cima Fight Club. That's with my buddies Eric Alexander and the doctor Jared Vasquez. We get together once a week and we talk about all things combat. And we give it to you straight, like you like it, and like nobody else does. So just check those two things out: El Pugilato and La Cima Fight Club.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, I'll have all you guys on the podcast soon. The whole Cima Fight Club.
Please,
maybe we
please do.
Kind of like a round table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, please do.
All right, brother. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. All right, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
On the table that blow. Got the green, got the white, got the gold. It's on the sink, on the table that blow. Got the green, got the white, got the gold, yeah. Take it in and just blow it all out. If you ain't talking progress, then shut your damn mouth, yeah. Take it in and just blow it all out. If you ain't talking progress, then shut your damn mouth. Take it in, blow it out, blow it out. Take it in, blow it out, blow it out. Take it in, blow it out, blow it out. Take it in, blow it out. That blow, we bless up. Why these niggas get they stress up? Yeah, pretty ladies with their eyes, they undress us. Trying to impress us, you gotta do more than twerk. Don't ask for no chips unless you putting in work. And even then, I'm hella greedy. Yeah, trying to feed my fam, and I think trying to make big buck noise. Invest in real estate and cop a couple nice toys. Keep it calm and ride on, baby, stay boys. Yeah, cause we really on the brink, doing more than you would think. Never looking back and moving faster than you blink. Those loose lips sink, baby, let my shit fly. I'm in the sky, feeling high, you sniffing cocaine on the sink. That blow, take it in and just blow it all out. If you ain't talking progress, then shut your damn mouth. Yeah, take it in and just blow it all out. If you ain't talking progress, then shut your damn mouth. Take it in, blow it out, blow it out. Take it in, blow it out, blow it out. Take it in, blow it out, blow it out. Take it in, blow it out. That blow.
Feel it in your body and your soul. Behold, this young guy got a golden bag of dope. And break it, roll it, ignite it, and then inhale it. Vibe with the summer essence and light up all the propellers. Yeah, we flying now. Fuck niggas, get to stepping. If you not about the progression, then I introduce my weapon. Get the message. Catch me up in this beach blowing trees with my queen and her coochie as sweet as a Georgia peach. Jetpack said it's a function tonight. Bad women getting tipsy, probably sniffing that white. Nah, I don't fuck with Molly Mary, stay with that flight. Yeah, we grind all day and turn it up in the night. Light work and cheap.